All right, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about activity, physical activity, and I thought instead of really focusing on exercise, because exercise can be this nasty word, I guess, that I don't want to have to do it, I thought I'd take a different spin and see how can we be more physically active. I'll start you with a couple questions as well. The first one is just true or false. My students hate true or false, so hopefully you like them. Exercise can make you smarter, or it's associated with being smarter. How about that?
Yes. Absolutely.
And the answer is true, absolutely. Actually, there was a study in California that looked at the scholastic aptitude, not the SAT, but it's an SAT type exam for 5th, 7th, and 9th graders, and they did a fitnessgram where they had 9 activities, and the students who did or passed more of those did better on these tests, and you see that association throughout the literature about that. Another question, I'll turn the page here, is we've got a healthcare issue. Some of you have been watching the news, and I've got a quick answer. True or false? If we could make all adults, just American adults, physically active, we would save $75 billion in direct medical care costs. The answer is true. The answer is true. Just American adults making them active. And that's not indirect costs because active people don't go to the physician as much, don't take as much medication, so there's less doctor visits, that sort of thing. So just being active. Actually, activity is associated, number 1, number 2 leading cause of death here in the United States of America, and I believe across the world as well. Another quick one is another true or false. To improve your health, you must exercise vigorously for at least 30 minutes straight, 5 or more days per week. That is false. Hopefully you all know the exercise light recommendation. I've got it on your sheet there. The recommendation is 150 minutes of moderate physical activity a week, but those can be done in short bouts, 10 minutes spurts throughout the day. And that's usually a lot easier to fit into your day than doing that. And I got my last question is, which of the following activities burns about 150 calories? Washing a car for 45 to 60 minutes, shooting a basketball for 30 minutes, or jumping rope for 15 minutes. C? Oh, A, B, or C, sorry. True, the answer is true. We go there. All of the above. All of the above. All of those activities. And what I wanted to get with that is, depending on the more intense an activity is, the more calories it burns in a given amount of time. Okay? Now, the last one I'll ask you is true or false. Physical activity and exercise are the same thing. There you go. It's false. It's false. Physical activity is, and I'm going to talk a little bit about physical activity, and when we say physical activity, we have any body movement carried out by skeletal muscle that requires energy. That's physical activity. So going to drink water, gardening, those are all physical activity. Exercise would be a subset. It's any sort of activity that's planned, structured, and repetitive in movement. So that's what exercise is. Now, the reason I'm going to talk about physical activity is because we are such a physically inactive country, and just getting us active first, then we can maybe start, getting the structured, planned exercise. So that's really what I'm going to talk about. Physical activity is something that's essential for health. Okay, just being healthy, whereas exercise is what you need to improve fitness, and those two aren't the same thing. So what I want to focus on is health. Now, when we think about practical applications to this, how can you become more physically active? Well, who in here goes to Walmart, to buy stuff? Now, this is something I learned or noticed a long time ago. You ever drive around a parking lot and you see the person, you made that person be that person, so I'm not yelling at you, but you drive around, you park, and they're the ones circling, looking for the close spot, and they'll drive around for half an hour looking for that close spot, and then they park and they get in, get out. And what I decided a long time ago was, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to, whatever the first spot is, I'm going to park, and then usually that's the one that's farthest away, and I'm going to walk in, get my groceries, do what I got to do, and then come. And generally what I find is, because I started doing this, I looked in the car and saw that person, and when I was leaving, not that they were just getting in the store, they were still just kind of barely shopping. And I'm like, man, you could have been in and out. And I hate going, my wife is back there and she'll tell you, I hate going to any store to shop, but if I go, I got to go get in and out. So one of the practical ways you can do that is park far away. Just consciously park far away from Walmart. You come here to work, park at the far parking spot and walk your way in, walk back. Before you come into work, leave about 5 or 10 minutes early. Take a walk around the building, then go in. Little things like that. I don't want to call them tricks because there's really no trick to activity. It's you have to make a conscious decision you're going to do something and then do it. Okay? And then the last thing I really want to talk about with regard to physical activity is the idea of its health benefits or its benefits as far as medicine. Exercise is medicine. If there was one prescription that could prevent and treat dozens of diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and obesity, would you take it? Okay, that is a quote from Robert Salas. He's a physician who's leading up the Exercise is Medicine campaign. And there happens to be something like that. And the idea here is exercise is medicine. I'm not going to give you the full bore talk of what I do with exercise is medicine, but the data out there is staggering when we look at the effects of exercise on preventable diseases. Okay, for instance, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, breast cancer, colon cancer. You pick the disease, and then several studies have looked at the active individual versus those who are not active and saw which individuals, and this is the key thing, lived longer. And what I mean by that is they followed these individuals till death and decided, what did they die from. This was the Dallas clinic the Cooper Clinic out in Dallas, Texas. Stephen Blair ran that, and what he looked at was a lot of individuals that were active, that were not active, and then just looked at these diseases. And you picked the disease, the ones that were active lived longer. That's mortality. If we look at morbidity, which is sickness, the ones that were sicklier, the ones that were more active were healthier. Okay, so it looks like exercise can act as medicine. And then one last study, I hate to do studies, but one last thing I want to say is there was one study I particularly find interesting where they looked at people who had cardiovascular disease, and this particular disease, the normal treatment for that is angioplasty. Well, so they did that to this group of individuals, but they also had a group that they didn't give the stent or this stent, they just had them be active. And then they follow these individuals not 5, 10, 15 years down the line. And what you find is those individuals that exercised had less incidence of fatal, reoccurrences. With that, they went to the doctor less, they were more healthy. And it costs less, obviously, to exercise than it does, even if you do gym memberships, which you don't have to do. It costs less to do that than it does as far as direct cost, medical care, and all of that sort of stuff. So exercise can and should be prescribed as medicine. There's one other quote I have here, or the vision of this Exercise is Medicine campaign is really to make physical activity a standard part of disease prevention in the United States of America because of the tremendous amount of data out there. In your packet I gave you, there's lots of benefits. If you prescribe exercise correctly, you reduce the risk of heart disease, you lower the risk of stroke, type 2 diabetes, colon cancer, breast cancer, Alzheimer's diseases. But the interesting thing is we know all of this, and if we could bottle up all the benefits of exercise in a pill, do you think we would be made to take that? I think we probably would. If we could bottle up all the benefits you get with exercise, put it in a pill, we would find a way to make sure that every person in America took that pill. Well, obviously we can't, but exercise is something that every American, or physical activity is something every American or every person in the world can and should do. So the last thing I'll leave you, and that's pretty much all I've got to say, is be more active. The way to practically do this: park far away. Park far away at Walmart. Walk around the building. Go in. When you are at your office desk and you're sitting in that chair all day long, you know what? Get up, get down, get up, get down, get up. Do that 10 times. I'm serious. Just sit there. I know your colleagues might go, "Who's the weird lady over there?" That's okay. Just say, I need to, and just do 10 squats, up and down in your chair. All right, do that 3 or 4 times throughout the day. Get up in behind your chair and just kind of look around, make sure nobody's watching, and then do this, and then sit down. Do things like that. Increase increase your activity. Yep.
Take the